at this last Rare Evo, I met quite a few people that actually thought that Book.io was just like an NFT project of people that really liked book cover art, and that there wasn't really anything. They just thought it was a PFP project, and I thought that was kind of funny.
Was kind of like, okay, so Book.io, I mean, I like those guys, but like, what's the big deal? Like,
Yeah,
okay, I mean, I can get books on Kindle or whatever, what's the big deal? What's like,
yeah,
but then I got it, it's like, yeah, it's ownership, right? So
yeah,
you own the material, and I mean, it's just kind of, it connects to everything else. So what made you really kind of, focus on that? And so the follow-up to that, I mean, why blockchain? I mean, is it really needed? Do you really
yeah.
need blockchain tech for um, promotion and securement of ownership of these materials? And really, what does it do? I mean, what is the value add here? So I just wanted you
Yeah.
to kind of, spill the beans for everybody so that it's very clear, because it's clear for me now,
Yeah.
but it took me a while to get there. I was like, okay, okay, okay. Oh, okay, I got it now. So
Yeah.
please go ahead.
No, yeah, for sure. So, and I think what's kind of funny in that too, like at this last Rare Evo, I met quite a few people that actually thought that Book.io was just like an NFT project of people that really liked book cover art, and that there wasn't really anything. They just thought it was a PFP project, and I thought that was kind of funny. And so I think what really occurred to me, which is sort of an interesting story, when we did our last book company, I was unaware. I think societally, like everybody is sort of unaware of the idea that we don't own our digital media, that we actually buy a license. And so when we had launched the last book platform, I think when we actually went live with that app, I think it was maybe like 2011 or somewhere in there. And what we did was which would be completely illegal now, we allowed you to, from our app, you could log into your Amazon account, which basically people were just giving us their user ID and their password to their Amazon account. We would log into their account. We would scrape all of their books on their Kindle, and then we would repopulate those because we were working with all the same publishers, so we had all the source files. So we could basically book match and say, hey, if you bought this book on Kindle, but you want to read it on our app because we have mobile apps, and you don't want to take your Kindle device with you, then you can just log in and scrape them, and now you have your books over here. And I think it was still early on in the book cycle of what digital licensing was, which really all that digital licensing stuff came in as a result of like Lars and Metallica and all the Napster stuff, because all of the labels and the studios and everybody was freaking out because they had lost control of all of that. And so they obviously got sued. All those things got shut down, and file sharing just kind of died. And everybody, all consumers just kind of went along with this, like, oh, I guess we buy stuff. I subscribe to Spotify, or I buy things on Prime, or I buy them from Apple, or iTunes, or whatever at the time. And so I think going through that and seeing that happen, like once we added this to our app and people could log in and get their books, Amazon couldn't directly do anything to us to stop us from doing that. So they went and put pressure on the publishers to stop that. And what we really learned was like, oh, we don't actually own these things. And the deeper we dug into the licensing side, I think the thing that became more apparent was, this idea that even though we think that we buy this, um, we haven't bought anything. Nobody owns any digital media. Like everything is through this digital licensing that was basically put in place, and nobody really thought real long term about it, because now we're seeing like licenses start to expire, because when a lot of that was enacted, it was under a 20-year licensing clause. So we've seen things start to disappear. So it's probably like really maybe 2015 or so when I'd been kind of in the periphery. Like I read the original, white paper when it came out, like pretty quickly, right after when it came out on the Bitcoin. And over time, like I have some funny stories too, which not for now, but I had talked to different engineers about, hey, we should start to mine this, and then got pushback from them when it was, like $50, and it was like, it'll never, cover the cost of the electricity, like those types of things. So over time, like, as it became, as I sort of understood it more, I realized like, hey, the future of of media is going to be blockchain based, and everything that we've done is sort of this kind of first wave of the internet of everything that we've created. But when I really sort of started to understand decentralization and what blockchain enabled, it was like, oh, this is a way to like extract this out of a digital licensing model into a digital ownership. And yeah, it was really, it was quite a revelation to me of like, we need to reconstruct a lot of what had been done, and that we need to move into, which I know it's called Web3, but to me it was really, it's like really like a whole second wave of like how all this technology will need to be reconstructed, and at the core of that being, blockchain and decentralization, just to make things more secure and more transportable. Because it basically gets us back to the Napster days of the file sharing, of where I could send you a book or a movie or music and I could share something with you, but it protects the DRM, so the creator and Metallica and Lars are not pissed off that their files being copied an unlimited amount of times. And if I resell it to you, then they're picking up a secondary royalty. So it's really the best of both worlds from a consumer side and the creator side.